The Swan at Sunrise, a healer's virtue and a swan's secret. In a little Spanish village near the sea, Daniela lived as the town's quiet healer. Her hands were gentle, her heart even gentler, and although she often imagined dramatic romances, letters carried by doves, secret poems in baskets, her life remained as calm as freshly washed linen. Nobody had ever chosen her for anything except medicine. One morning, while she was searching for herbs in the forest, she heard a rustling too clumsy to belong to the wind. There, between the reeds, lay an injured swan. A shard of glass glimmered in its leg. Daniela gasped, nearly tripping on her own skirt in panic. "Oh dear, stay still, stay still. No, not you. The bird, I wasn't talking to myself," she muttered, half to the swan and half to her nerves. She carried it home, treated its wound, and released it back to the forest, though her heart felt oddly hollow, watching it fly away. That night, sleep took her gently. She found herself standing beside a shimmering lake. On its banks sat a young man, so strikingly beautiful that Daniela, for once, forgot to breathe properly. He looked at her with soft, knowing eyes. "You're the only person I see capable," he said. "Even in the hardest times, do not abandon your kindness." Before she could ask who he was, or why his voice felt like a forgotten memory, the dream dissolved like morning mist. The next evening, someone knocked on her door. Daniela blinked at the sound. Her village was quiet after sunset. Patients rarely sought help that early, unless they wanted medicine and gossip. A young man stood at her doorstep. His hair was dark and silky, and his eyes, one gray, one blue, were so unusual that Daniela momentarily forgot how to talk. "Could I have shelter for the night?" he asked politely. She let him in, under candlelight. His features looked even more familiar, though she couldn't place the memory. When she asked where he came from, he avoided the question with a polite smile. Daniela, who was terrible at hiding her interest, blurted, "Would you like to stay here longer? I mean temporarily, not forever, unless you want forever. Not that I'm suggesting forever." The man blinked slowly, confused but amused. "I suppose I can stay." He introduced himself as Luis. But every morning, Daniela awoke to find the bed empty. Every evening, Luis returned with the same gentle excuse. "I visited my grandmother. It must be a very enthusiastic grandmother," Daniela murmured once. Luis only smiled and said nothing more. A few days passed like this. Daniela's concern grew, tangled with a feeling she politely declined to name. She wasn't one for bold emotions, but this one kept following her around the house, like a cat waiting for milk. At last, she decided to follow him. Before sunrise, Luis slipped out quietly. Daniela slipped after him, with all the stealth of a broom falling over. He walked into the forest, down to a lake glowing faintly in the early light. She quickly hid behind a tree and glanced, and then, before her eyes, he transformed. One moment, Louis stood at the water's edge. The next, a swan spread its white wings in his place. Daniela clapped a hand over her mouth to stop the scream that absolutely refused to obey her. "It's him," she whispered. "The swan is him, or he is the swan, or I need to sit down." She ran home in a flurry of skirts and shocked heartbeats. 2 days later, Luis vanished completely. He did not return by evening, or by night, or the next morning. Daniela searched the village, the hills, the market, even behind her own house twice. Nothing. In worry, she remembered the dream lake. At the lake, under silver moonlight, she finally found him. Luis sat by the water, shoulders heavy, eyes dim. Without thinking, Daniela rushed to him and wrapped her arms around him. "There you are," she said, voice trembling. Don't vanish like that again. I mean, you may vanish if you like, but please tell me first. No, that sounds controlling. A few tears escaped. When they touched his cheek, something glimmered in the moonlight. His blue eye turned gray, leaving both eyes the same soft silver. Daniela stepped back in astonishment. What happened? Louise exhaled and finally told her the truth. 10 years ago, his father, an inventor of odd and harmless experiments, created a clear liquid that looked exactly like water. Louise, thirsty and impatient, drank it by mistake. The potion bound him to a strange fate. Swan from dawn to afternoon, human from evening to dawn. Frightened by the transformation, he ran away from home. Years later, injured and alone, he ended up in Daniela's forest, the same swan she had rescued. One blew and marked the swan's presence within him, but there was a condition his father had written down too late. If the tears of a human who loves him truly touch him, the spell will end, and he will become fully human. Luis ran away in fear before learning this. After learning this, he tried to win a human's heart, but he couldn't find one, so he lost hope. The swan Daniela healed had been him. The more Daniela listened, the softer her expression became. I see, she said simply. Then Luis, would you like to stay permanently this time? Luis looked at her in surprise. Daniela's cheeks warmed, but she lifted her chin as bravely as she could. You don't have to answer quickly, she said. But I would be honored if you stayed with me. He smiled, a real gentle smile. I will. They spent the night there, talking and enjoying the lake's view. They talked so much that they didn't even realize when the sun rose. They married quietly under the coastal sun. No dramatic declarations, no grand speeches, just two people who found each other through kindness and stayed. True kindness always returns, sometimes in ways you never expect.